We're live, we're live, we're live, we're live. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Friday Live thing because we're live. And here with me, I'm Mark. That's Tim. And in the corner where you can't see him, there is a special guest. Actually, Tim, you look like you've got mug shots on your wall behind you.
Yeah. Oh, that one around there.
Yeah.
There.
No, that side, yeah.
See that one just there?
What, there's 0 on it.
That's actually
Yeah.
that one.
Are those your adverts?
That one there is I've used it in adverts, and now it won't. Facebook won't allow me to use them anymore
because it's horrible.
Well, I think it was something to do with something. Facebook have got a bit more arsy about this whole using a negative imagery for health and wellness and weight loss product type things. And
I mean, actually, the more important thing than just looking at your picture there. So, explain to people watching, morning, Kevin, what that is and why you've got it pinned on your wall.
Why have I got it pinned on my wall?
I know what it is.
Behind me, I don't know whether everybody can see that, but I've got a bunch of emails that are part of my email flow. This email flow is actually for everybody who's ordered for the second time.
Yeah.
So once they've ordered for a second time, they start receiving emails in a flow. Then what I do is I print them all off so that every sort of 6 months or so, and then go through, okay, is it still relevant? Is it working? How good is it working? What can I do better with it? All that kind of stuff. So that's why I have them all pinned to my wall. And then if I spin around a bit further, you can see my whiteboard at the moment. Basically, that's all of the customer communication. And I didn't know it look like very much on there, but one of those lines accounts for 20 emails, another one accounts for 6 emails, another one accounts for 7 emails, all that kind of stuff. So I basically map out the full customer communication journey for a customer, including when they buy for the first time, when they buy for the second time. If they haven't bought for a certain period of time, we have it's a customer reactivation or customer discount ladder. So after 60 days, we say, you haven't bought for 60 days, what's going on? And then after 75 days, we go, okay, you still haven't bought, here's a 10% discount code. And then after 90 days, we give them another one, which is like the Hail Mary 20% off kind of thing. And then we have one which is for after 180 days. If they've not bought in 180 days, we have one final kind of big Hail Mary offer, and it basically threatens that we'll put them into the dark list. So we can basically just move people away who are not interested in our stuff anymore. So we map out that full customer communication journey. And it's not just about email. Because we have things like we talked about this last week with Bonjoro and postcards and stuff like that. We map out that. When do those go out? What's the perfect time for those to go out? And one of the things we've been looking at is, okay, what can we do on the second time purchase? Is there a physical mailing that we can send out? Is there an optimal time to send them a second Bonjoro? Is there, say, Facebook ads campaigns that we can run that will actually re-engage with somebody and get them to come and buy again from us? So that's what all of the stuff on the whiteboard is basically just mapping all of that out. So
I think the whole actually printing out your email sequences, sticking them on the wall and leaving them there for 4 or 5 days, and every day just have a glance at them, you get a much better flow out of it, because then you'll do a lot of changing. So today you've got one of the marketing gods in your office. We've got one of the marketing gods listening. Morning, Peter.
Michael, where's the marketing god in here?
I don't know.
I've no idea.
It's Sam.
Brilliant.
Come on, Michael, show your face.
Oh dear. Make yourself look pretty, Michael.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, come on. Put your shirt back on.
So, a few hairs out of place. There we go.
How you doing? How you doing, Mr. C?
I'm all right, matey. Where's the camera on this? I'm looking at that there.
One.
Oh, hello, green dot. Okay. Oh, I'm good.
So what are you up to? Let me put you on the spot. What are you up to, Michael?
What am I up to? Well, if I was back at my house today, I'd be receiving a box. And inside of that box is a actually, it's a proof copy of a bundle. One of the things I've decided to go down the route of in recent times is self-publishing as part of. So I'll still have audio, I'll still have video, all these nice things. But what I wanted to do as well, because it actually has certain tax advantages as well, is to have published books. So, for instance, if you don't have to worry about VATMOS if you have a published item as part of a digital course, but also as well, if you are going to do in the UK, the flat rate VAT scheme, you have to have a percentage of physical product. You can't just have intangibles. So there's an advantage there. But actually, I just did it because it looks sexy.
I published my first book. It must have been 8-9 years ago, or even longer. I used CreateSpace.
Right. Yeah, I'm using. I've used Lulu before. They're okay. The quality of their Perfect Bound is good. Their saddle stitch, I would suggest, isn't. The saddle stitch isn't saddle stitch anyway. No one does saddle stitch nowadays. Yeah. It's staple. But they, because they're cutting A3 size pieces of paper and down, of course, you're hoping that they're all going to be trimmed properly, and the trim isn't quite, so it doesn't look as good as I like to have it. But I'm actually using a company called Mimeo, M-I-M-E-O.
Yeah.
And their quality of their material is extraordinary, actually. Their matte laminate finish, for instance, on their covers is just beautiful.
Do they have any minimums for Mimeo, or is it just purely print on demand?
It's print on demand. So they have a really good hand-holding service as well. So that's what this box is. This box is they actually allow you to produce kits as well on demand. So I've got within it. It's called the Creators Folio when it comes out, and it's got something called Creative Words in it. It's got the War Report in it. It's got something called Six Spice, and then there's some bonus materials as well, which are printed materials. And there's a thank you letter. Now, all of those are individual items within Mimeo, but I can then go kit, and then go click, 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 and that becomes the kit. And I just order the kit, and the kit's done on print on demand. So a lot of, which is amazing, because a lot of people who do kit printing or kit thing, you have to actually buy 100 or something and have it stored, and then you pay fees for it being stored and all the rest. So yeah, I'm really quite impressed. There was a few teething issues in terms of account management and everything to begin with, and I'm trying to persuade them that they really need to get up to date with their API, particularly being able to work with Zapier, because then they'll be able to integrate with everything. So I'm working on that.
There you go. You've sold one already.
So there you go. So the question is, stick my head in. So the question is, Michael.
Yes.
When is it launching?
When we talked about a year ago, you were just finishing it.
Yeah. There is a slight problem with me, as people who know. I have a few health issues which sometimes get in the way. Should we say sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah, that'll do.
Sometimes I actually manage to do some work. Would be a better way of doing it. Yeah. So.
Don't stop you being a genius.
It does. Sam just said, you hear that? She said it doesn't stop me being a genius.
When you come in the office,
gonna get us some cake or something. Yeah, it is going to happen soon. And so I want to get a few bundles out. Send one to you, Mark. Send one to Tim.
Mate.
And then give glorious testimonials. Obviously.
Well, you'll get a brilliant testimonial from us. I mean, we've known each other since 2012, actually. 2nd of June, 2012.
Years, yes.
And you produced War Report then, so you just about now got it printed. Well done.
It's okay. This is where I can go. Haha! It's timeless information. Well, it is actually. That's the way I've always done my stuff. I've always done it, so it's not about your latest whiz bang technique or idea or whatever.
Right. For those of you who are watching and listening and all this kind of thing, you probably you may actually not know who Michael Christen is.
Yeah, exactly. Who is this guy?
No one knows Michael, don't we?
Who is this dude? Probably one of the most switched on copywriter and how could I describe artistic geniuses that you could come across. From not necessarily like graphical art thing. He's very, very good at that too. but like actually, making stuff that will actually sell your product or service, or actually create something that is your product. So in the written word, brilliant with the written word. So somebody I rely on a huge amount to help vet all of my wonderful copy that's on the wall.
When I did, remember last year when I did big income, small lists.
Yes.
Mike went, no, go for small list, big income. So I went and bought the domain, and 5 minutes later, oh no, go for big income, small lists.
Hold on. No, I said big income, small list. No, you had small list, big income. Hold on. We done it. Anyway, there was a discussion.
An argument.
Yeah.
Right. So we today, now that we're already 10 minutes in, we better talk about something.
Okay.
And not stroke each other's egos.
No, I've talked about something.
Yeah. So just before we went live, Michael actually had an idea of what we're going to talk about today. And it was, Tim, what was it? Because I can't remember.
No, he was going to have a rant about.
Oh, after the rant, it was a good thing.
Right time. That's right.
Yeah. So there's on a periodic basis, you will actually see people within all manner of Facebook groups and things that they're saying, okay, so when's the right time to actually send your messages? Should I send my emails at this? And if it's 9 a.m., is that 9 a.m. Pacific time? Is that 9 a.m. Central European time? What is it? And it seems that everybody has their tuppence worth, and then they'll come, oh, well, blah, 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 and they'll typically name a guru who always sends his at a certain time, so therefore everybody should do that as well.
Yeah.
And okay, there are generalized statistics, but like a lot of things, the words I use are generalizations. So there's a lie often right in the middle of these things when it comes to generalizations. And it's, of course, the answer to the question is actually, when is your public, your audience, actually interested in receiving it? And why this was queued up was because, Mark, you went and said about something about, oh, why are they doing this on a Sunday? Why is this chatbot talking to me?
What happens is
Sunday when I'm drinking a beer on the beach or something?
Yeah, exactly. It seems to be messenger bot. People with messenger bots like to send a message out, and bear in mind, messenger bots can be tailored to lunchtime in your area, so they will go at a specific time in your time zone. Sunday, why Sunday afternoon? Why do I always get messenger bot messages on Sunday afternoon?
Yeah,
it's a damn fine way of making sure I unsubscribe from your messenger bot.
Yeah,
but
ironically as well, the message sometimes will be completely counterintuitive to the timing that they send it, because of course one of the big pitches that a lot of these guys go, work from home and have a great life and all the rest. A lot of these kind of the internet marketing as internet marketers, where they're just selling to internet marketers about the internet marketing opportunity. But a lot of them are selling this idea of having a life and everything, or claiming that, have more time with your family and all the rest. And then they send you something in the middle of Sunday afternoon.
Right. Wilco, I know you sometimes listen to this. There's your bloody messenger bot from, where are we? It says, sorry to bother you on a Sunday. Sorry to bother you on a Sunday. I close down the replay of the FB training along with the early bird invite to my new Connect Automate. Would you like to check this out before I remove it? No, it's Sunday. I don't work Sundays. And anybody who actually messaged me on a Sunday with on my phone or in the foundation or SMO knows I don't work Sunday, because I let them know pretty damn quick.
But here's the thing, though, is that there's every audience is going to have, like, just like as a seasonal adjustment across the course of the year, there's going to be an adjustment of people's attention across the course of a week. But all you need to do is just aggregate your data over the course of your emails, your social media, and everything else, and just look at when you're busy and notice where your audience is interested actually in engaging with your material. Yeah. It's not that difficult to do, and a lot of the stats programs and everything, analytics and everything, they'll even show you curves, and you can just go, oh, well, there's the bump. You don't have to get into the numbers. You just go, okay, I'm getting more engagement on a Thursday afternoon, right? We'll hit them then with your best message.
Surely that could be a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you send out an email on a Thursday afternoon, you go, oh, look, I get more opens on a Thursday afternoon.
You can test as well, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. The other thing is ActiveCampaign use AI. So if you do an automation, you can actually click a box which says send at the most opportune moment. So they will know when people have opened their emails. So they've got a time for whenever that person opens their email. So if someone's been on your list for a few months, they'll have that detail. So you just can go, right, send it now.
Wow, that's cool. That's a really nice feature.
Who's got that?
Active
Campaign.
Really?
Yeah.
It is very sexy. I hope they have it.
I've actually got it in some of the automations, which I'll be pinning up on my whiteboard later when I print them out.
So
Well, that's cool because that actually solves the problem then. Because it's like
We don't talk about it anymore.
have a routine which is my routine,
Yeah.
but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the same as, for instance, Tim. But Tim and I might end up buying the same product. I like that. That's really cool.
So,
Yeah.
one of the things that I do, and one of the reasons for printing out all of this stuff on the wall is figuring out what's the right day to send something out, what's the right time of day to send something out. And with, as Mark says, there's various different platforms have different ways of forcing it to go out at a certain time of day based upon a time zone. So one of the things that we do, because we know that a lot of our customers are, and I hate using the phrase busy mums because everybody's after busy mums. I want to ban busy mums. There's because everybody's chasing after busy mums. Anyway, busy mums, they're dropping the kids off at school in the morning, and that's when they drop the kids off at say 8 o'clock in the morning or 8:30, and like they're sat in the car like waiting for the kids to get out of the car, and they're on the phones and like looking through their emails, or they're at like a local cafe waiting for their friends to arrive or whatever, or they're about to go and do a exercise class that they've signed up to, that kind of thing.
Well, they're posting their cake on Facebook.
Sorry?
They're posting the cake they just bought on Facebook.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely.
It's stereotypes, son. This is shocking.
So that's it. We're stereotyping, but
The advertising standards agency just banned the use of stereotypical images.
that's it. Actually, that's a very good point. We'll come to that in a second. But you can, be smart about when you send your emails. So figure out based upon your audience what time, what days, that kind of thing. I don't send any of the flow, the sequence emails on a weekend at all. I don't send them on a Saturday or a Sunday. However, I have had very good response when sending an email on a Sunday afternoon, because people will sit in front of the TV or after they've had the Sunday lunch or whatever they're doing, and they'll sit and they'll open that email on that particular day, on that particular time. And so I get decent open rates and decent response rates. We get more sales on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, like in preparation for the week ahead, than say on a Monday morning. So it's just knowing your audience, knowing their usual habits, that kind of thing. Yeah. So what Sam's doing is actually really interesting. I just want to come on to that because the Advertising Standards Authority in the UK are looking to ban the use of stereotypical images in advertising.
I know, so you can't have a woman with a vacuum cleaner or a guy painting. I know, I've seen that.
And it's like, the question is, so can you have, for my position, can I have a picture of a woman eating a piece of chocolate, or is that considered stereotypical?
It's going down a really slippery slope.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Mikey's head's about to explode.
Yeah,
I think.
I'm just kind of thinking of all the. No, you can't do that.
No.
Yeah.
And I suppose this is the challenge that we're having as marketers going forward is like we're not allowed to do certain things and say certain things, which then makes our marketing more generalized. Again, there's that word with the lie, generalized in the fact that we have to start doing like broad kind of blast things, which sending our marketing to people where it's actually inappropriate to send them marketing pieces, and it then becomes wasteful for us as marketers. Our costs go up, the cost of products go up, the customers then suffer from it. So all ends of the scale, the customer suffers because they're getting inappropriate marketing, and they're also getting higher costs because our costs are higher. So it does baffle me sometimes, the sort of short-sightedness of certain sort of decisions like that. So, but yeah, it's a bit weird, this whole, stereotypical images you can't use. And to a certain degree, you don't want to use necessarily be quite as blatant as a woman with a vacuum cleaner. But even that is like, well, who's going to buy the vacuum cleaner?
Exactly. Now the thing, right? So actually, this actually brings up another one of my bugbears.
Did I just
so much trouble. You're in so much trouble for that comment, Mr. Goodwin.
Well, who's going to buy the dishwasher tablets? God damn it!
This actually does bring up a really good point, and it's one of the things. I mean, I've gone over it before. Avatars. I think avatars are vastly overrated.
Yeah, massively.
And for this very reason, because when you sit down to work out your avatar, you've got all the stereotypes in your head. And the avatar ends up being the stereotypical person, which generally isn't your buyer. So I know Michael's probably completely opposite end of the spectrum on this.
See, I just recently I've been running a lot of advertising on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I've kept the audiences really, really broad, super wide on purpose, basically to allow Facebook to decide who's most likely to buy my product. And in the past, I've always considered our audience to be female 35 to 55, generally a busy mum. But that's who we could. And what we've done is all of our landing pages, all the copy, all the creatives have always been based upon that particular person.
Yeah.
However, over the last couple of months, we've seen a significant increase in the number of males 25 to 35 buying our product. Yeah. And in actual fact, it's 65% of the people at the moment are male, which means one or two things. Either we've got our marketing wrong, which is probably right anyway, because we generally get it wrong, or males are reacting to female-based messaging and imagery.
Yeah, I'm just going to check. I'm just going to check last month's.
Mikey's about to burst again. I can see it.
Well, you guys, why I go and check my demographics from last month?
Okay, my first thought is. No.
Avatars.
Avatars are needed.
Yes.
Okay. Avatars have a particular use is when you're sitting down and you're writing your copy. The best way of writing any form of copy or anything, whether it be an advert or anything else, is to imagine an individual who you're writing to, because then you're going to be seeming far more natural. So an avatar most certainly has a use, because you can imagine you've got this archetypal character called, Rachel, and Rachel is your ideal customer. It just doesn't focus your brain, because you can, hell's bells. Look, I had a friend who's, I think it's his mum was an editor on Fleet Street, all right, and newspapers. And they used to sit down and they would have editorial sessions where they would discuss specifically, and let's use Rachel as the example, and what will she think about it? Do you think Rachel will like this? How do you think Rachel will react to it? And of course, this immediately begs the question, so who is Rachel? Rachel didn't exist. Rachel was their reader. And they had this idea, but they could tell you so much about this reader. They could tell you she was 35 to 45, she had 2 kids, she had this, she had that, and all the rest. Now, are there other people who read all of that newspaper? Of course there is. But what they're doing is they're just doing a little bit of tuning in to actually make it so they're going to hit a better spot. And you will pick up other people on the sides as well. Also as well, though, there's the other side of things as well with the avatar, which is shaping your business to attract the customer. It isn't just about who you're targeting. It's also about what you look attractive to. And this is the bit which everybody gets wrong in their, I think a lot of people get wrong in their marketing. You want to actually persuade some people to join you and dissuade others, right?
Yeah.
And in that way, that's where the avatar comes in as well, because, I don't want people, for instance, who are in my business. I'm not interested in someone who's young, all this, that, and everything else, and they want to go off and be on a beach and don't have kids and all the rest, and they just want to go around the world and enjoy the high life type thing. And that's the reason why they're into internet marketing, saying that's not my type of customer. My type of customer is somebody who's going, actually, there's more to life. You know,
Yeah.
there is this idea of balance. There is this idea of how it's nice to be able to have time with your kids and things like this. So therefore, my messaging, if I started going, yay, cool, man, it's all right, yeah, bro, which seems to be just, God, that just annoys me. And so I get an email through saying, hey, bro, why didn't you look at this?
Dude.
That is not going to resonate, funnily enough, with the people who are actually family guys and all the rest. They may use those phrases, but it's not sort of necessarily they're going to be, I don't walk in here and go, yo, dude, hey, bro, and give them gang signs, right? It's going to put off that audience. But similarly as well, flicking it
East
on.
side, west side,
That
north side. I don't know what south side is.
Yeah. Anyway, we're just where was I? He distracted me with his bugger. Where was I, Sam?
Oh dear.
Mid rant. Dude, bro, you don't walk in the office and go, yo, brood.
Yeah,
brood,
bro,
brood.
that's right. Now, flipping it over. So
Yeah.
therefore, as well, just as that kind of thing is not going to attract your family guy or whatever type thing, me talking to a young guy about things which are to do with family and kids and more time, and isn't it wonderful to sit back and do stuff? You know, it doesn't work. You got to tune in. So I'm sorry, avatars do have their uses, but there is generalizations, right?
Yeah.
You've got to tune your marketing in some way, because if you try and be something to everybody, you're going to be nothing. You know.
I think one of the things when Andre Chaperon talks about building an avatar.
Good comment, Peter, by the way.
Yeah, the good comment. We'll talk about the comments in a second. When Andre talks about creating an avatar, there's a lot more to it than just like, oh well, they're male or female or like a certain age or this kind of thing. It's about what does that person think and feel? What do they what things do they see and hear? What are their friends saying about something? All of those things are actually way more important for creating the right message for your product than actually like a gender or an age or they've got 2 cars or whatever. It's the things that they're exposed to, the things that they feel, the things that they think about on a regular basis. Those are actually way more interesting aspects to building an avatar than the actual demographic part of it.
Yeah, the things they believe in.
Yep,
well.
absolutely.
But what's an interesting one as well is those things they stand against.
Yeah, what they're for, what they're against.
Because a lot of people actually go, oh, the pro this, the pro that. Yeah, it can be really interesting to flick it on its head and go, well, they're actually my type of customer certainly don't like X, Y, Z. So for instance, the example I just used earlier was this idea of the young 20-something guy who wants to run around the world and just live the high life. I know a section of my audience doesn't like that. It's not that they don't resonate with that message. They actually get kind of annoyed with that whole kind of happy-go-lucky thing, because they're more tuned into the idea, well, actually, you have responsibilities, you have all these things. I'm not saying they're right, but that's just that's how they are. So if I wanted to actually hit a hot point, I can do a wonderful them versus us, right? And use that young whippersnapper kind of idea, against the kind of family guy. And, we know what it's really like to be this far in life and everything else, and how it's important to focus on these things. I can then set up this wonderful comparison where, fly-by-night techniques are the young whippersnapper, and what I'm selling you is far more something which is wisdom and thought and age, and it's a good thing. And so it allows me to immediately do this, and they'll resonate with that, because not only, as I said, they're not into the word bro, dude, or whatever it would be, it's actually they don't like that aspect of, say, internet marketing or whatever it would be. So
it's interesting because whenever you read any of Andre Chaperon's sales pages, his first section is always trying to repel people.
Absolutely.
The first part of the sales letter always just takes his ideas and puts them in a way that half the people, or 3/4, or 90% of the people reading go, not interested. And then what he's got left with is the people he can really get into and marketing too. So Peter's made a comment, and he's done a follow-up on what you want to do as well. Marketing is gender neutral. I never write to mums, but rather to one person I know has bought my stuff and as a fan, don't mind gender. I mean, that's probably one of the main keys to marketing. Actually, Peter, do you want to come on for a show? Not next week, we're not doing one, but probably the week after if you're available. You're on our hit list. You're on our hot 100 of people we want to interview on the show. Okay, so that's a really good point. Okay, just write to buyers, people who've bought your stuff. Okay, I said the above also works even if you're selling what seems to be a gender-specific product, i.e., beard oil.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's like who's buying it, not necessarily who's using it. It's like and that's actually quite interesting. A lot of the comments that I've been getting on my Facebook ads recently are of somebody's other half going, hey Bill, I think we should try this, or hey Jane, it'd be great for you to try this kind of thing. And it's somebody's other half is actually, and it's like, oh, can I buy you some of this, Jane, because I think it might be good for us, kind of thing. And we're getting an awful lot of that. So the messaging is.
You tell me the conversation's dead.
No, it's true. A classic example was yesterday. I went on and bought something specifically for my wife. We had a conversation. I know she needed it. She was busy at work, so it seemed to be a hell of a lot easier for me just to be the one who went onto Amazon, went looking for something which I felt was appropriate, and given what I knew about the product and what my wife likes, and I was the one who bought it.
That by wiper blades at the moment. So it goes to prove it, really, doesn't it? Who would market wiper blades to wives or busy mums?
Well, somebody who owns an aging Porsche that doesn't work.
It does work. It just hasn't got a wiper blade at the moment. Another comment from Peter. Repelling people should be the first thing any piece of content does. Yes.
Marketing is a game of elimination. Absolutely.
We should start a new brand, Repellent Marketing.
Yes. Have a big spray can as the logo.
No, just that.
No, a lot of people get the basics of marketing wrong, and this is one of the basics. They try and market to everyone, and you don't.
You're trying to sell to everybody with a wallet and a pulse is never going to be a great sort of.
Is optional in most cases. Isn't that right, Russell?
Dear. Yeah, everybody with a wallet and a pulse is not a great way to market. But at the same time, it's like, we've talked about Facebook an awful lot over the last couple of weeks and about how letting the AI figure it out. And to a certain degree, it's what you put in your creative that actually does the elimination, not necessarily you going, well, I want to target people of a certain age, certain gender, who have a certain interest. Facebook figure out who it is and just use your creative to basically either eliminate people or attract people, and that's probably a better way of doing it. It's kind of almost like going backwards to mass marketing, like mass media kind of approach a thing where you have a TV ad that is and I'm going to be sexist again, I'm sorry, but who buys a bloody Hoover? It's but no, it's like, okay, so 50% of the population are just not going to be interested in buying a Hoover.
Yeah. We wouldn't buy a Hoover. We've got marble and wood floors.
Yeah, that's what broom's for.
Exactly.
Who's going to buy the broom?
Got a better example which steps slightly stereotype of a Hoover and a woman. KFC.
Okay, go on.
The KFC adverts nowadays, if you look at them, they're not aimed at the likes of us three. It's kind of like, in it, yeah, whoa, it's all that kind of speak, and they're speaking, giving it and it's street talk, and it's got a bit of a jingle thing going on. Have you?
I haven't noticed them, so
exactly,
that's why.
Exactly, right. And first time I saw the advert, I was kind of like, oh, and I really was just kind of like, oh, but I'm not that customer.
But then again, you look at McDonald's, they always have a range of adverts, and they do a broad range of demographics in the advert.
Yeah. So they
do single dads.
But it'd be interesting to see if different ads because there are adverts which also go specific as well. The coffee one is an example.
Yeah.
So I haven't actually looked at this in detail, but it would be really interesting to see if the timing of those ads is different. Because
Yeah.
we also got that Happy Meal one as well, where they're building the Happy Meal together and all the rest, and it's like they've got this little crew of small people putting the Happy Meal together. Like, is that? I wouldn't be surprised to find that that is actually kind of like that 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock time, where maybe parents are coming, sitting down with their young kids, having picked them up from nursery school or whatever it be, and that advert's then. And the coffee one, it wouldn't surprise me if the coffee one is at a certain time, say 11 o'clock.
See,
Right.
that's quite interesting because we've just come full circle from what we started at today, getting your message out at the right time.
Yeah.
It's like
Almost like we planned this.
Oh, we did plan it.
Oh, it was 20 seconds before I pressed the live button. I went, what are we going to talk about? Michael went, I don't know, how about sending messages at the right time? No,
So we got any other questions below for, like, you know, from people?
no, we've got no other questions. Well, we bored people into stupor. No, actually, I've got a question. And I made a note of it when we were talking. I thought, well, if I could read my notes. Hang on.
You're getting us to read your notes.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Look what's there on my desk still.
Oh.
Hold on. It's bring your pet to work day today.
Oh my God, look at the size of that. What is it? Was that Cumberland?
It's a bearded collie called Eric.
Oh, cute.
Eric, well done, Eric.
And he's
hang
like,
on. There we go.
sorry about that.
Hello, Eric. Right, so what I want to talk about is very briefly before we finish. Oh, hang on, let me go. We have got another question. Same product, different job to be done. Yes, got no idea what you're talking about. Well done, Ian. Anything,
he's talking about McDonald's.
me, I know. Anything that's more than 2 minutes ago has gone out of my short-term memory. Right.
what
what
did you write down?
So you're in your office today, right? I have been thinking, I've been doing for years that I should get an office.
Yes.
Because how many days a week are you in that office?
Generally 4, I would say.
Yeah. And so you do when you're there, you do 10 till 4 type thing.
No, we'd normally do from around about 8:39ish through to around about 1:32.
So yeah,
Generally a full period of work.
yeah. So I know a lot of people say, yeah, but you work from your office or your spare room at home. That's great, but there are so many distractions.
Yes.
3 weeks of Builders, right? Borderlands released some new content. Fallout 76 released some new content. It's sunny. I've got a hammock up the stairs. So there are so many distractions. So I think there definitely comes a time when you need to get yourself an office. Do you mind me asking? You can say no. How much do you pay for that a month?
£280.
Okay, £288 a month.
To be specific.
That is a bargain.
Yeah. In my book,
Plus
it's
services.
yeah. There's services on top of that as well, but like you know, for us, it's been an absolute godsend to actually have. We've been in here for what, 9 months, 10 months now, something like that, and our productivity has gone through the roof massively. It's like when we do come in, you know, it's not like we're strict about, like, you know, how much work we do, or if we arrive in the office and then suddenly go, well, this isn't working, we'll bugger off. We'll go and do something else. If it's sunny outside, we'll go for a ride on the bike.
It's never sunny outside.
Yeah. So like, but what it's done is it's separated very much what we do, like, you know, home life from office life. And it means that I'm a lot more focused when I'm here. I get so much more done, especially when Mikey's not here. It's great.
But on the podcast, Peter's just said that's less than ClickFunnels. It's true though. It's absolutely true. Hey, I've got a new logo or a new tagline. You're one office away.
You're one office away. And I think the other thing, the reason why we decided
too slow, Ian, too slow.
oh dear. Oh dear. One of the reasons why we decided to do it is kind of like we've been running this business for 7.5 odd years. And like we got to the point where it was like we kind of need to step up what we're doing and stop treating it like a side business. And it's like we need to start treating it. And it sounds ridiculous to say it, but it's like, you know, we need to start acting like a grown-up business to a certain degree. And that means actually having an office. And one of the benefits of actually having the office is we've had Mikey in reasonably often to help us out with stuff. And we've also had like a member of staff come in, you know, recently who's been helping us with various different jobs. And having the office means that it's not like we're inviting them into our house. It's now like, well, just come to the office and like come and do some work. And that makes a big difference. We're about to employ that person like for a short-term internship, like for the month of July. And it means that they can come in like for 4 or 5 days of the week, you know, probably 4 days of the week, and actually do a concerted amount of effort and work. You can't really do that when somebody's coming to your house, because it's kind of like those distractions are there. So for us, that's like a big part of this, is just to sort of, you know, pretend to be a grown-up business.
Yes. No, it's
yeah.
It's I've had home office, and I've had home office for myself, and I've done home office where I've had somebody have come to the house, and I only did it 3 months because it just wasn't working. And it was small little details. For instance, my dogs need to be let out and that kind of thing. And it was just, and they'll wander into the office and I'll say hello because it's somebody else's there. And the whole thing was just very disjointed as a day. However, the flip side to that is I actually tend to work better when I am in a home office. So there's always an exception to the rule than I do here. You know, so I'll be more productive because I've got my own space, and it's sort of set up perfectly for how I like to work. Would that be the same if I was in an office? I suppose so, but
it depends on the situation.
I like the creature comfort, to be honest. I like the fact that I like the fact that I do have my dogs, but it was a distraction with the person working for me. So.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's an office block near here that I can get. I think it's it'd be €280 a month. So
I think, you know, because the bit that I worry about is like, oh well, we're only in it like 4 days a week, and we're only in it like, you know, essentially 4 mornings a week. Am I really getting the maximum out of it? And there's some weeks where I'm like only in like twice in the week, and it's like, oh god, you know, I've got this office, I really should be using it. But it's like, you know, because it's here, I've become a lot more strict with like how I use my time and how I, you know, how I structure my day. It means that I'm not like, you know, just ditzing about first thing in the morning, looking at the news and all this kind of stuff. It's like I come into the office, I start working, and I'd say you end up being a whole lot more productive for it. So, you know, even though it's like for us, it's only 10 minutes away from our house. I presume the office building for you is like just down the bottom of the hill.
in the area.
So it's like, yeah. So, you know, it is, there's plenty of distractions in the area, but you'll be going to the office for a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think it's definitely, I've been saying this for years, so I really need to do it.
Yeah, again, I think it very much depends on how you want to run your life and how you want to run your business. It's like we have aspirations with Lean Greens to grow it to a bigger thing. It's like at some point, if I'm going to stop being the bottleneck in my business, I need to have somewhere where people can come and work for me, for my business, so that I can step away. And then ultimately then the business becomes ultimately a stronger asset that ultimately somebody might want to buy in the future, or invest in. And if it's me sat in my front room or sat in like my kitchen or whatever, on my laptop, there's not much of an asset there, or perceived asset.
Yeah, it's not so.
Yeah, so it's a very, very different sort of, it is because of where I want to move forward with the business more than anything else.
Cool. Right. So that probably rounds it up. We're not here next week because myself and Tim will be having coffee and croissants in Seville, to give it its proper name.
Don't
So
mind
that-
me. Then.
Oh, don't worry, we'll bring you a t-shirt, back a t-shirt.
Oh, a whole T-shirt.
Well, if we can get, if we get on that side.
I'll buy you a stale, crusty
You can
croissant.
bring back the croissant.
Yeah.
A dead croissant.
Yeah, it'll be slightly
That's the Portuguese tart.
Portuguese tart. Who are you calling a tart?
That's very true.
Why are you talking about croissants if you're going to Seville?
Well, they do croissants there as well, but
When in
And
Rome.
the best tapas in the world.
oh dear,
Right.
enough
That's-
hilarity for 1 week.
We're stir crazy today. Thanks for listening, guys. It's time to go, I think. Thanks for the questions. If you got anything you want us to talk about in 2 weeks' time, let us know. We'll try and get Peter to come on. That will be an epic show.
Yep.
Let's build him up so he's got to give us epicness. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.